Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is AcroYoga coming back with another YouTube video for y'all this evening. We're going to just be reviewing some of the old acro videos that I have still stored on my phone for right now. I just kind of want to run through them. I actually came across some really good ones too. I'll probably end up posting them to Instagram as well. I believe here we're trying to do a croc lemoy, so starting off in croc, going into a big lemoy positioning, or actually the big lemoy flow. This one's challenging to go, especially back into croc, but I think it's kind of similar to, it's very similar to perfect storm if you've ever practiced that flow as well, where basically they come into a straddle split on your hands and then you go back into that big lemoy ending basically. But I remember with this flow a lot actually having to bring my hips up quite a bit and you'll see a lot of bases with the sacrum wedge sometimes as well, but right here I think that coming around on that last part, your hip has to be up really high, so that way you can kind of bring your knee into your chest a little bit more in order to find that hip placement. So you should be able to feel the hip crease here, and then as she turns into the croc positioning, croc is hard. Like I don't really fly too much, but you know, even sometimes flying croc or just bicep stand in general, I suck at it, to be honest. So here I found some really good videos of the man, I'm gonna go blank on this flow and I can't think of it right now. I'll have to look it up real quick, but it's a super fun flow. Kind of complicated, to be honest. The movements on there are just very different, and here I'm practicing with our other flyer, Hannah, who used to be an instructor also, but I can't remember. Skagway roll, maybe? I think that's what it's called. No, is it Skagway roll? I can't even remember. I'm trying to look through my notes right now, but this was probably a better video here. I think these last two videos that I recorded horizontally came out really well. And not Reno's Dream. Oh, Binding's Edge. I think that's what it. Yeah. Skagway roll was something different. That was another flow that our other good friends came up with on their own. But Binding's Edge, Hannah, actually, I think she usually only bases this one with me, since she came from a different state and city. She didn't have the same people learning her flows with her, so I told her, hey, I'll learn that one. It looks very, very complicated, but I'll give it my best shot. And especially this part here with the foot underneath the armpit and then coming back into this positioning to the lower back. It's a very interesting move to say the least. And I think there's a few other tutorial videos on YouTube going over this move, Binding Edge, and it's just amazing to see how smooth people can get these moves. You know, it's something that you really just have to work on for a long time, especially if you and your flyer both have patience for it. Then you know, obviously it can work out a little bit better. But I remember I hadn't really practiced this move a lot with her. At least every once in a while we'll get together at the jams and practice, so that's usually our go-to kind of move, and I think we're just really trying to smooth that out for the most part. Here it is one more time. So Binding's Edge, I think this time it actually came out a little bit better. We probably got through it a few more times as well, but definitely an interesting move. So it's side star here, and then we're gonna go to the lower back, and I have to kind of pivot my foot inwards, pigeon toe it, and then I kind of twist her around, bring my foot underneath the armpit. I grab the shin to kind of lift her up just a tad bit. I shouldn't have to grab that other foot, but I went ahead and did, so I can get my foot into placement. Then the other foot comes to the lower back, and then we're back into side star with another kind of weird pivot side star that actually ends up on the other side. So I'm finding it kind of you know, it's hard to cue, so I'm about to actually end up getting my yoga teacher training certification, and I plan to do a lot with this channel, to be honest. So I probably plan to upload a few yoga tutorials, as well as maybe acro tutorials for the most part. I think I may have found a flyer that's probably down. I'm still kind of training her on some other things too, and really just trying to get more calibrated with this flyer too. But I think what I'd like to do with this channel is maybe once I get the teacher training certification, is to actually start teaching a few more stretches, maybe some sequences that y'all can do on y'all's own, and then maybe some breakdown tutorials of some of the acro moves that we go over in here. So here we're going into a two high positioning, and we're going into a throne on hands. So we have our spotters in place. They're ready to spot, ready to be there in case anything happens. So you know, two highs are fun. It is scary being on someone's shoulders though. It's definitely, if you're scared of heights, it's probably probably you're gonna have to figure out a way to kind of go with it, or however you may have it. But just trusting in your base, also trusting in your spotters. And here we get into our positioning for the throne on hands. And so I do a few turns here and it goes pretty well. So throne on hands, foot to hand, standing. What else? Bird on hands, standing, camel. There's a few other ones. I really would like to get into an extended foot to hand. One of our other bases is like really good at them, and he kind of just muscles it. I don't think I could muscle it. My shoulders are just crap, to be honest. So but I would love to maybe step into an extended foot to hand, standing foot to hand, and I think that would be pretty cool. Here we're practicing a few more variations of, I think, camel maybe or something. I can't remember which one this is. So looks like camel, maybe into a bird on hands or a side star possibly. So fun stuff here. But yeah, y'all, I'm super excited to move forward with this channel. I've been trying to push it a little bit more on other platforms for the most part. I know my filming and editing could probably be a little bit better, but obviously most of my content is on Instagram, and Instagram loves their vertical positionings as well as TikTok is also. And so we're just gonna have to kind of figure out. I think if I start to do tutorial videos, I would like to do those more in a horizontal aspect, but I really have to figure out how I'm gonna do the editing. You know, it's all kind of new to me still. I've edited plenty of videos in the past, and even my Instagram page has some pretty nice edits on there that I can do on the fly. But you know, I'd like to give this channel a little bit more quality, especially if I'm going to be you know, going forward with the yoga practices and the yoga instructions on this platform of YouTube. And also, I've been thinking about there's one more certification that I'd really be interested in, and that is a Qigong practitioner certification, teacher certification. So I'm looking at White Tiger Qigong right now. I found out that they are doing an online teacher training course to become a certified Qigong instructor after 15 weeks. So and it's all online. Super interested in it. I think Tai Chi is a very underrated physical exercise, especially learning more about your body in general, how your body moves very subtly, right? But not only how your body moves, but how energy moves throughout your body, and how nature moves in and out through your body as well. I've taken a few Tai Chi classes before, and also have taken one Qigong class where I learned a few different postures, and I feel like I resonated with it, but at the same time I didn't really pursue it, and I think I just didn't have the time for it. But it's something that I find very interesting, and if there is a teacher training course for it, I feel like why not bring that online? I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that do the same thing for Qigong or Tai Chi classes, whatever you may have it. But I don't know, I just feel like I can add something a little bit different to it, and I'm super excited and stoked if I do end up getting that certification for it. So I'll probably have to trim this video or not trim it, but rotate it. I think I could rotate it here, and it would be a lot better looking than it is now. But this was also a really fun flow. Super strong flyer, ex-gymnast or ex-cheerleader too as well, but so much fun. And if you know, they can pretty much do anything on the fly with very little explanation, and it's pretty easy for the most part to kind of cue, especially if you do yoga or anything like that, or any type of movement practice in general. Then the cueing's a little bit better. But that is another reason why I'm wanting to become an instructor in yoga or in qigong practice as well, is to be a little bit better at cueing, because obviously with partner practices, if you are practicing with someone new or someone that maybe only has a little bit of movement practice in their background, then it can be a little bit more challenging, and you have to explain body structure, you have to explain body parts a little bit more, how the body moves in general, like the pike. A lot of people don't understand that, and one of the things that we say for piking is bring your toes to your head, and that's another kind of, I guess, way to kind of cue the move itself. But definitely would like to expand my vocabulary when it comes to cueing, at least, and I think that the teacher training will help a lot with that. This is actually one of the videos here that I will probably end up posting on the Instagram page or the TikTok page. You can find links to those in the description box below if y'all are interested in following me on those platforms. But Swimming Mermaid, definitely a very cool move, very fun. And I'm not sure if that was Swimming Mermaid or not. Oh, that wasn't Swimming Mermaid. That was going back into Bird. But the one before that was Swimming Mermaid. So I'm kind of curious to maybe get that video later and then use that one for some Instagram platforms. Here we're going through a big Lamoy. Another fun one to do. It's definitely one that I find myself doing quite a bit now. Usually when I start off, it's usually like a 4-step or something, but definitely like to include this move once I feel that we kind of had like an intermediate practice together with me and the other partner. But here Ari's arms are kind of stiff, so usually you can bring your arms out to the side, and it might help you even balance a little bit more too. So she has her arms kind of by her sides the whole time, but sometimes if you bring them out to the side, you can get a little bit better of a balance. And I think one of our other flyers had mentioned this as well, and I didn't even think about it, but it looks better like that too. And I think that you can have a little bit more balance if your arms are out to the side. And so this is another, I think we're practicing ballerina here, but this is kind of another spinning move that once you get really good at them, you can go quite fast, to be honest. So I believe Acro Revolution teaches these, and you know, obviously like acro is definitely one of the more one of my more go-to kind of movements for sure, besides like yoga or like the qigong and stuff like that, or energy work kind of stuff. But the acro certifications definitely cost quite a bit more than your typical YTT or your qigong practice. So that would be probably the later advancement of getting a certification, is to maybe become you know, an acro certified teacher as well. The only thing is that I don't believe there's any online courses for this yet, and with traveling being such a you know, like thing that people shouldn't be doing right now, it would be very hard to find one of the certification pop-up places to and go train there to get the acro certification. But would definitely love to have that later on in the books. For the most part, it's just definitely going to be a progress, and that's why I really want to move forward with this channel a little bit more. But here, working on a side star standing side star. Usually with this one, I find it really hard to not twist. So when I'm going from the camel into the side star, I usually like to grab that bottom leg. But also I find it really challenging to not come out and twist sometimes. So I'll have to work on that a little bit more. I haven't really worked on a lot of the standing stuff since we've kind of been self-isolation for the past couple of months now, and we don't really jam too much anymore, so we have to kind of just wing it, I guess you could say. Alright everyone, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way y'all can be updated every single video that I make. And without further ado, AcroYoga signing out. I'll see y'all in the next one.